Hey guys, T and K here. Welcome to another episode of T and K No Co Auto Talk. Today again, we're going to switch it up a little bit, do something a little bit different. Take just a little break from filming the vehicle, and we figured it'd be fun for you guys to get to know a little bit about us, and just know who we are as people, what our likes are, and things like that. So we just wanted to do a Q&A between the two of us.
Yeah.
And I don't know where this conversation is going to go.
We shall see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. So, Kay, I think I'll let you take it away.
Cool. So just to kind of keep us on track, we're going to ask some questions, ask each other of some questions, and then that'll hopefully develop into some meaningful conversations. But yeah, so just kind of jumping right in. First question, what was your first car?
My first car was a 1995 Ford F-150. It was, I believe, a 5-speed or either a 6-speed manual, and it was a single cab long bed. And I learned to drive on that vehicle on the lot when I bought it because I did not know how to drive a stick at the time. So that was really fun. What about you?
What was it about that car that was like, this is it?
That's really all I could afford. I was in college, so that was my first vehicle. I remember I was like 19 or 20 or something like that. So that was really all I could afford at the time to get. And also, I only went to one dealership because I didn't know anything about car shopping, prior to where I am now. Obviously, that was my first venture, and I'm here in Northern Colorado by myself. I don't have any friends or family, so that was me going out on my own. I was originally looking for a Ram 1500 at the time is what I wanted to get, but they didn't have one. And so the vehicle that they had was something that, being like I said, a 20-year-old that I could afford. Of course, my parent co-signed with me because I couldn't get it by myself because I had no true credit history or anything. So that was the vehicle that I stuck with because I did not want to go take the bus all around town or have people drive me around to look for a car. So
been there, done that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I ended up getting that particular vehicle, and I was happy with it. So I was excited.
Nice. My first car was a 1999 Dodge Stratus ES.
Stratus.
Yeah. That was, it was a car.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just needed something. My dad helped me get that one. So I did like it. It grew on me over time. I grew to love it just before it died. But yeah, it was white. Like I said, it was an ES, so it had like the sunroof and.
Oh, you were fancy with it.
You could.
I wasn't that fancy with mine.
It was an automatic, but you could shift it manually.
Okay. Yep.
So that was cool. But shortly after that car died, I was like, Dad, I need some more help, and so he's a huge Lexus fan.
Okay.
Nothing but Lexus for this guy. Which I get. They're dependable. They last forever. So he had, like, at the time it was like 10 years old, a second gen ES 300 that he loved. And instead of giving me that car, because his wife didn't want that to happen, he got me my own Lexus ES 300.
Nice.
And I loved that car. It's like, looking now, it's like an old grandma car.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Most definitely.
But it was nice. It was comfortable. It was dependable. Never really had any issues with it. So I think it's probably where a Camry probably should have been where I started, but the ES was a good second choice.
So your Dodge, how long did your Dodge last before it died? How many years did you have it?
Years.
That's
optimistic.
Oh, it wasn't years.
No. I had it for almost exactly 10 months before.
Oh my gosh!
Before it died.
Holy smokes!
But I was young and I didn't know any better. My dad was like, "Don't do it, don't do it." But I'm like, "But I like it," and so that's what we went with. And lesson learned.
Wow! Did you buy that from a dealership or did you buy it from a private owner?
I did. I bought it from a dealership.
Oh wow! Okay.
But I think at the time I was trying to be smart and not spend a whole bunch of money on a car because it was my first. Right?
Oh yeah.
And I wanted to show my dad that I was reasonable.
Okay.
And so that's what I went with.
Wow. Okay. Cool. At least you ended up having a good backup.
Yeah. Exactly.
And to get you into that luxury car experience.
Yeah. and I mean, I don't recommend it for somebody who's young and can't afford it, because it's expensive.
It's expensive.
So
it is expensive.
But lessons, that's what your 20s are for, right? You're learning.
Yes.
So.
Exactly. So we've talked about the first car that we've had in our experiences with those. By the way, I had my F-150 for a long time. I had it for years. I literally had it up until like 2010. I want to say I got it in 2001, 2002.
Okay.
So I had it for a long time. Yeah. So good truck.
Yeah, I will say, piggybacking off of that, I did have my ES for a long time.
Nice.
By the time I got rid of it, it had just under 300,000 miles on it, but still drove just as good as the day I bought it. So,
awesome.
And that's why you buy a Lexus.
Awesome. So. Very cool. I love it. So what is, or what could be your dream car as you reflect back on your first car?
So I've actually had the pleasure of owning my dream car, which was the second generation Lexus IS.
Okay.
It was 250 all-wheel drive, but it was loaded. It had navigation, so I thought I was moving on up.
Baller!
It had the power sunshade in the back. It had everything.
Nice.
And I loved it. I had been pining over that car for years before I found myself back in the market for a vehicle and happened to stumble upon one that was available in Illinois.
Okay.
And got it from a national used car retailer who shipped it to Colorado for me. I test drove it and I was sold. So
awesome.
I was like, yeah. And I, again, had it for a long time. Loved it.
Nice. That's dope. That's dope.
But it did get to the point where it would cost too much to maintain than it was worth. And so I ended up getting a different car.
Vehicles do that sometimes.
Yeah. And it was during COVID, so I got way more for it than I should have.
Well, that's a plus.
Yes, but I also overpaid for the vehicle that I traded it in for. So I guess someone would call it a wash. But yeah.
Nice. Cool.
But to answer the question, right now my current dream car is the Lexus IS 500 with the V8.
Okay.
So
yeah, you want that power.
Yes, the V8, it's especially in cars, is a endangered species. So the fact that Lexus still has an option with the V8, like, come on.
Yeah, so, totally.
And it's gonna last forever. Like, people have those cars and they drive them and drive them and drive them, and they last forever. So I'm a Lexus fanboy, if you can't tell.
Yep, that's all day, every day for you. Yeah. I know it. If ever we get the chance to get a high-end Lexus,
yes.
Oh man, you were just I would just put you in your coffin right then and there. You'd be ready to go.
I'm done.
Over.
That's all she wrote.
Very nice. Yeah, that's not too bad. I'd say for me, obviously we already filmed this vehicle for myself, which is the Bronco Raptor, right? If you haven't seen that video, check it out. 2024 Ford Bronco Raptor.
We'll tag it somewhere.
Boom, yep, we'll pop it up there. But also, I mean, I have so many cars that I like, I guess. But you know, at the time, a few years back, I was really hardcore for a Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat. That is what I wanted.
You call me power hungry.
I know. I am also power hungry too. I just don't make it as obvious. But that's what I wanted. And I know the last several of those, I believe, ran off the production lines a little while ago. So unless I buy one from somebody that hasn't never drove it, I will never have one ever again. So I'm muy triste about that.
Have you seen the electric Dodge? I think they call it a Charger.
You think they call it a Charger because it's not. No, I have not seen that.
So the, I guess, most striking feature, good or bad, is the fact that it has an not authentic, as it uses speakers to put out some sort of
the classic exhaust sound, right?
I'll have to show you that. For me, I've only seen it in videos.
Yes.
Could be different in person.
Yes.
But it sounds weird. I can't say that I'm a fan. I don't think if they can turn it off, we can talk. But if that sound is just there all the time, I can't.
To drive your ears crazy.
Yeah, that would be a deal breaker for me.
Yeah, I can say I think the first time I experienced exhaust notes coming through the speakers of a vehicle was in the BMW i8 when that first came out. When was that? Probably back in like 2016 or 17, somewhere around there. Weird. It's all I have to say.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that automakers are still doing that because I personally am not a fan of it. I rather feel the engine roaring through the vehicle, feel it in the steering wheel, hear it when I roll my windows down, hear the exhaust, when I roll my windows down, that kind of thing. But I don't really care for the sound coming through the speakers because, like you said, it's not very authentic at that point, right?
Some get it right. I think Lexus does a pretty good job. I think the Acura that we just did, the MDX.
Yeah, that was
pretty good.
Yeah, not too bad. I didn't mind that one.
What I was surprised by that was that the sound is piped in through the speakers, so you get some of that augmented sound. But then you go to rev the engine and you go to the exhaust and there's like no sound coming out of it whatsoever. So I'm like, I know like when you're driving it, you want to hear it.
Yeah.
But part of the fun is other people get to hear it too.
Yeah. And
that's not the case in the MDX. And I think that's the case in a lot of vehicles these days. So it's a little disappointing. But
for sure. Yeah, but, it's crazy.
And I guess it kind of makes sense with everybody going to smaller displacement engines. They just don't sound as good as a V6. So Turbo 4 is not going to sound as good as a V6. V6s don't even sound as good as V8s.
Right. Right.
It's weird to me.
Yeah, super weird.
Yeah.
Super weird.
Yeah.
Oh, also, just thought, another cool vehicle that I think I would consider a dream car would be, was it a Resvin or a Resvian?
Oh, yeah.
I think those Resvani. Yes. Thank you, Resvani. Those converted Jeeps or whatever they are.
Insane.
I think they just look really, really cool.
Yeah.
I would like to
show a picture of that.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a real thing?
Yeah. I think it just looks really badass. So over the Raptor, that would be like my Apocalypse Now vehicle, I think. My zombie taker.
Yeah. Put some grill guards, some I can't remember cattle guards.
Cattle guards, brush guards, yeah. That'd be great.
It'd be insane.
Yeah, that'd be so bad.
Do you know what powers the Resvani?
I do not know that. We would look into that, and then we'll put that on the clip here, just so everybody can see what the horsepower of that is. But I'm not sure what power output it puts out. I don't know if it's actually really fast or not, or if it's just a big old slow tank. But I just know it looks cool. That's all. It probably gets literally like 10 miles to the gallon.
Yeah, it's massive. Yeah. On to the next.
Yeah, man.
What has been your favorite car to film this thus far?
I would say, I can't keep saying the Raptors. I know y'all getting tired of hearing me say that, but
you can say it if it's real.
Well, I mean, yes, but I also enjoyed filming I believe it was the 22 Jeep Wrangler Gladiator. I just enjoyed my visuals that I had for filming that vehicle, and then the train at the end, like not planned, just happened. I was like, I have to get set up to capture this coming by, and I caught it, and I just thought it was so badass.
Yeah, it was.
I really love that. That's still my favorite video of all time.
The angle, like it worked out perfectly. The angle was good. The sound was right on cue. Like it was awesome.
Yep. That was a perfect moment right there.
And that was the first video where we had like several hundred views.
Really fast. Yeah. That one blew up really fast. Yeah.
And then the Denali Ultimate
came in. Then the Denali Ultimate came.
I mean, we're still getting views on that.
Still getting views on the Ultimate. Yeah. So, I have to say that was mine. What about yours?
I think for me, and it's based on really just how surprised I was by it, is the Kia Stinger.
You did like that one.
I did.
Quite a bit.
Not a Kia fanboy by any stretch. But I was just so impressed. Like, it felt like it drove like a BMW 3 Series. Like, not even the base model, but like the M model. It felt very tight. I mean, it took off. The turbos were insane. Like it's such a sleeper too. Like it's very unsuspecting. But it was very impressive.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
And I'm curious because Kias are all over the place.
Yes.
And I'm just so curious as to why that one didn't do so well. Like it was only around for a few years and then it's discontinued. So
yeah,
that's a little surprising to me.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say on that.
Yeah.
I think it's just it was tough for them to come into the market with that car because I think they were a little late to the game.
Yeah.
And there are so many other vehicles that fit that demographic, right? That were already out and doing so well that people were already gravitating towards. They already knew about, that they felt comfortable with, they felt confident in. And then when we get Kia coming up like, hey, we've got this little performance vehicle, guys.
Yeah.
So
it still does boggle the mind a little bit because Kia's value proposition, right? Their whole thing is like, look at what you get for how much you pay, right? And so it was the same with the Stinger. Like, of course, it was a little more expensive than a Kia like Forte.
Of course, yeah.
Or even a Kia Optima.
To be expected.
Right.
Yeah.
But look at the cars that it competes with. Like a Kia Optima does not compete with a BMW 3 Series or a Mercedes a C-Class or whatever.
Correct.
But it's a Kia, and I think I don't know. You still see them around. You can't get them new anymore, but you still see them around. So they're out there.
Yeah, they are out there. That's for sure. And I will say, with their Telluride, completely different story. I mean, when the Telluride came out, like that thing was flying like hotcakes.
Yes, could not keep them
on the lot. People like couldn't even like order them. They were on back order. Oh man, I remember when I was at the other dealership, we had gotten one in on trade, I believe, and it went like so fast.
Wow.
And then people were asking, are we going to get another one? We're going to get another one. Well, I mean, of course, we don't sell Kias, right? So, no, it's like this is just something we happen to get in on a trade.
Right.
And it was still very brand new. So, I'm not quite sure the story why the previous owners got out of it. Neither here nor there. But still, like, I know that vehicle super popular. And I think it's a nice looking SUV.
It is. I think it's surprisingly. One of the best ones on the road.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah, I remember when I first saw one in person, I was like, what is that? I was like, what is that? And I was like, I gotta know. And so I was like, that's a Kia? That's a Kia? And they had like the amber colored DRLs. So they just
look really cool, especially on the black with the black exterior color.
And those slim taillights in the back. And it's a great car.
Yeah, that's something that they did right.
Flies and flies. Like, no matter where they are, it sells. So everybody wants one.
Everybody wants one. Yeah, it's crazy. Totally insane. Yeah. Let's see. So, since we were talking about our favorite cars that we filmed thus far, if given the opportunity to film any vehicle, what would it be that you would like to film if given the opportunity?
Where do I start?
Yeah.
The list goes on.
I know. It's so exhaustive.
I'm gonna let you answer that question. I'm gonna come back. I gotta percolate.
Yeah. So I would really like to do a classic muscle car. I mean, it could be like a Chevy SS. It could be a Mustang, like a 67 Fastback or something like that. A 67 Mustang. I just love those too. I mean, and then if we're talking like newer stuff, any high-end luxury new vehicle out there, I would be super, super down to take a peek at. Like super high-end. Like you have to have like hundreds of thousands of dollars to like buy a car, like a Porsche or something, like
a Rolls Royce.
Yeah, or Maybach. Yeah, like it has to be like you only see this at like the car show. That would be something that I would be interested in doing. So if ever given the opportunity, just something like really, really high end, something that I know I would never ever own.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So I kind of gave, my thoughts on some cars I'd like to film. Although I couldn't say anything, too terribly specific because, again, like Kay said, there's just so many out there. I just know it when I'll see it. But I do have that, like, genre, the things that I'm looking for. But, now that I've kind of rambled on about what I would like to film if given the opportunity. What about you?
I guess, and I'm probably gonna hear a lot about this, but my dream car is a Range Rover Sport.
Okay.
I know they're not dependable. If you can afford a Range Rover Sport, dependability is not it's not a priority for you. So, but it's my dream car, and so if I could get my hands on one of those, that would be awesome. I just think it's the styling of the latest one is unmatched. There's nothing that looks better on the road right now. So that for me would probably be my pick.
Yep. At one point in time, I was into the Range Rovers. It's kind of like hit or miss for me. I would have to say I still like the old school Defenders, though. Those are really, really cool looking. I really like those.
Yeah, not a fan of Defenders. That type of vehicle is just not my.
Yeah, that's not your style.
So,
yeah, that's more my style.
Yeah.
I'm more of the rugged. Yeah, I'm more of the rugged. Have some creature comforts and everything, but like I just want something that has wheels and can get me from point A to point B, but also that's fun to drive. Something that I can go like, hey, I'm just going to go to the grocery store, but then in an hour I'm going to be up in the mountains. You know, you are definitely more like the city boy. Yeah. Let me just cruise downtown.
Exactly. Yep. Those were the days.
I'm like, I don't want to cruise downtown. I want to go fast on the racetrack. That's what I want to do, and also want to go off roading.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate vehicles as a whole. So like the Defender has a lot to be liked more. But it doesn't intrigue me enough, I think, to make a compelling video about it. So yeah.
We'll find out. We'll get that Defender and then you'll change your mind.
I know. I
you did the Raptor.
Yes.
Just saying.
Yeah,
You're like, hey, I'm actually kind of
I think
perfect.
Still given a choice, I mean, if I had $100,000 to spend on a car, I don't know if it would be a Raptor.
Man, if I had $100,000 to spend on the car, I honestly don't know what I would even spend it on. I would really have to evaluate all of my choices.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of money.
It is.
To invest in a depreciating asset. So it has to be something that like really like, okay, I can see myself driving this every day. Because I'm not the kind of person that's going to buy that much vehicle and not drive it. Like, I have to drive. I like driving.
Yeah.
And I know there are people out there that get these fancy schmancy cars and they don't drive them. Do you realize, people, that's the worst thing you can do for a car is to not drive it.
Well, I mean, it's definitely good to get it out there, but... I mean,
not once every summer.
Depends on who you ask.
Different
opinions from everybody.
Opinions, yep, that's
true. The Kia Stinger, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
though, it was a 2019 with only 14,000 miles on it.
Right? Sad.
No, they got top dollar for it, though. If you're thinking
that's
resale...
fine. Well, that's fine, yeah.
Like... works.
That works.
So,
but who knows if they were actually thinking resale? You know what I mean?
True.
But yeah, they got their money's worth out of it.
I mean, at least when I buy a car, it is something that I think about. I drive a Jeep right now, so maybe that's hard to tell. But it definitely was top of mind when I had my Lexus. Like, I buy a Lexus because I know it's going to be valuable for a very long time.
I, on the other hand, buy to use and consume. I don't necessarily buy to resell. That's not my game, because if I buy something, I just want to own it, and I want to own it for forever till the wheels fall off, you know. And so if I do happen to sell something and I make a good profit off it, great. But I want to make sure it was still used and it was maintained. Even a vehicle that can have high miles on it and a few years on it can still sell for a lot of money. It depends on what the demand is for the vehicle, you know. So it just really depends. Yeah. But like you mentioned earlier, the Kia Stinger is just kind of a weird one, right?
It is.
You know?
It's a unicorn.
Yeah.
It's hard to think of it as a one-off, but that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
I don't think there are any plans to replace it or anything like that. Yeah, I guess not the greatest example.
Yeah, well, you know, they didn't do well in sales, but there are people out there, obviously, who like them and then will pay top dollar for it, right? Because I do feel like people that have them probably honestly do keep them for a while.
Yeah, I mean, and the one that we took in on trade wasn't there very long before it was sold. So there's still a market out there for them.
Still a market out there for them, for sure. Most definitely.
Not to name drop or anything, but TFL Car posted a video yesterday.
Okay.
Talking about the fastest depreciating vehicles of the last year.
Okay.
Won't go into detail, but Tesla was on the list.
Never own one of those.
So that's what I
not a fan.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to get your opinion about. Because every now and again somebody will come in and want to trade in their Tesla.
Yeah.
And it's always a difficult conversation to have.
Yes. It's very hard to have. Very hard to have. And it's very hard for certain places to keep a Tesla in their inventory, right? Because perhaps said dealership isn't set up for an infrastructure to keep a Tesla charged.
Right.
Because if it just sits on a lot, what's going to happen? That battery's going to die, and then it's technically, it becomes useless. You technically have no way to jump it unless you're, certified to work on a vehicle like that. And most places are not certified to work on a vehicle like that. Yeah. And then, you have to try to find a location where you can go to a supercharger, but superchargers aren't free anymore.
Right.
So what are you going to do? So that's very, very hard. That's definitely a vehicle. If you're talking earlier, resale, no, definitely not.
Yeah, I think the guys at TFL, they made a great point. The Model S has pretty much looked the same since it came out, with little tweaks here and there. But essentially the same car that you can buy and that you could have bought in 2012 or whenever it came out till now.
Yes. Virtually unchanged.
Right.
Yeah.
And which also another point that they made is anybody who could own a Tesla owns one. Like, it's been around. That model has been around so long. And
you see those. That's the one you see on the road most often.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might see the Model X.
Yeah, we see a lot of Model 3s up here.
Yeah, true. And sometimes you'll get the X. We've had a couple of those come through my past dealership. Again, it's kind of like a novelty for me. I will say that obviously we all know the Cybertruck's out, and that's, I guess, thumbs up or thumbs down on that vehicle. We currently have one in our current dealership, but it's at our other location, and that's still a vehicle for the purposes of our channel that I would like to film. Yeah. I mean, I would like to check it out, see what's going on with it.
See it for ourselves. Make our own determination.
I mean, I can say I honestly am not a fan of it. I think it's hideous. The interior, from pictures I've seen, it's very, very Tesla. Yeah. Very boring. Yeah. But just for the fun of it, I think that would be something good for us to incorporate on our channel and get our opinions on it as well.
Yeah. I remember watching a video of an interview of Elon Musk, and the question was somewhere along the lines of, what were you thinking? And, and
or not
thinking. Response was, it really was just an exercise in hubris. So
to see what he could pull off.
I'll just leave that there.
Right, yep. You can take your thoughts wherever you want with that.
Yeah. Do with that what you would.
Exactly. So, here's a funny question. We all know the movie Cars.
Yeah.
Right? Love that movie. If you could be a car, what car would you be? And I probably already know what you're going to say.
Well,
but let's see if you can surprise me.
Let's see if you're right.
Oh, you want to know my guess?
Yeah.
A Lexus, duh.
You're right.
The most highest Indus Lexus ever.
I don't know. I missed the Lexus GS. I never owned one, but it's midsize, competes with the 5 Series, the E-Class. It's been discontinued, but I think that fits my personality where I am now more than any other vehicle.
Okay.
Because it's just that understated, sophisticated. Like, I consider myself reliable.
Yeah, you are reliable for sure.
I think that's probably. And it lasts forever, so I'll last forever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that would probably be my answer.
Okay. And for me, again, it's just very complicated. There's so many things. Of course, you probably know I'm probably going to say Raptor. And that's whether it's the F-150 or the Bronco. But, gosh, it's so hard. It's hard for me to say what vehicle specifically. I think I'd probably have to go with, like, a type. It'll probably be some kind of truck, I think, or possibly an SUV. But it is hard for me to narrow down exactly, like, what kind of truck, what model of truck would I be? A Ford?
I think your Tacoma fits you very well.
My Tacoma? Okay.
Yeah.
My Taco? Yeah, okay. I mean, I could be a Tacoma. I'm small and mighty.
Yeah.
You know, that'll work.
Ready to
I'm down
take
with
on
that.
anything?
Yeah, take on anything. By the way, haven't seen that video, check it out. What I Drive part 1. We will have a part 2 coming.
It's in the works.
It's in the works, just kind of like in the movies. Things take a while, but that's coming too. But yeah, that's a good one. I do like that. That could be a Tacoma. Probably just be a nice, badass, lifted Tacoma.
Naturally.
I like that.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. I can't be boring. I have to be something different and exciting.
Yeah.
Have to stand out.
Yeah. I like it. I like it. Let's see. How many cars have you owned in your life thus far, and what were they?
All right. So as I already mentioned, I had the 95 F-150. So that was my first vehicle. Then after that vehicle, I had an 87 Bronco. And then after my Bronco, I had a 2013 Mini Cooper.
Oh, nice.
Yep. It's just the Cooper. Little 2-door, hardtop. So much fun.
Manual?
Of course.
Nice.
100%. Yes.
Way to go.
Yes. And then after that, I had a 2016 BMW M235i X-Drive.
Okay.
Coupe. Love that car. That's probably the funnest little sports car I've ever driven. That really made me fall in love with BMW performance. Obviously, the first BMW I've owned. Would definitely own something like that again. That was really awesome. And then after that, my Taco. So I've had 5 vehicles. So I got a 22 TRD Tacoma Pro. So 5.
Nice.
5 for me.
Nice.
What about for you?
Let's see. I had the Dodge.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had the Lexus. We had a 2015 Corolla. That was the first brand new vehicle that we ever purchased. And it's a good car. It did what it was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I had an old used Audi all-road.
Okay.
And I liked it. The one I got was not in great shape, and it took a lot of work. And eventually, I just got tired of maintaining it.
Yep.
So
fixes.
It had to go. But I got rid of the Audi, got my second Lexus, the IS, and now I have my Jeep. So that's the Dodge, Lexus, Toyota, Audi, Lexus, Jeep. 6.
6 vehicles.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
So, and the plan with the Jeep is just to pretty much drive it till the wheels fall off.
Mm-hmm.
So
For sure. For sure.
Which
That's fair. It's coming anytime now. Any day now.
But
Any day.
it's the newest car. Well, since being single, that was the newest car that I've ever owned, and I did it all by myself. So I was super proud.
Congrats. That is something to be very proud of.
Yeah.
Car ownership, much like home ownership, is a milestone in your life. And you never forget your first car. Anything in between, you may remember, you may forget, depending on how it treated you. But yeah, it's something really special when you can say, like, I did it by myself.
Yeah.
That's also really cool.
It's definitely a feather in my cap.
Yep. I like it. It.
Can't touch me now.
Well, guys, we hope that you've enjoyed this video that we've made for you this week. Leave your comments down below. Any other questions you guys might have. If we get enough questions, then maybe we will follow this up with a fan Q&A, so to speak. So we definitely look forward to some interactions. We like to hear from y'all. Thoughts, opinions.
If you guys have any input on what you'd like to see on the channel, anything you'd like to see from us, let us know. We're new to this, and we're growing, and we're taking feedback because we want to be as successful as we can with this.
Yep. And we want to keep you guys entertained and keep you coming back for more. And for any automotive enthusiasts out there as well, we just want to share our knowledge and information, and we also want to learn from you guys as well. So, and then just bringing new people into the automotive family. So, whatever input you have, like you said, we're happy to hear it.
Yeah, the comment section is there for a reason.
Comment down below.
And like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, always. All right, guys, that's it for today. So we'll catch you on the road.